from R.T.O here. Welcome to a very special retro ranking this week. It's a little tribute to a great rock and roller, Mr. Jerry Lee Lewis, who sadly passed away on the 28th of October, aged 87. American singer, songwriter and pianist, nicknamed The Killer. He was described as rock and roll's very first wild man and a pioneer of rock and roll and rockabilly. He made his first recordings in 1952. He has a bit controversial career as well because of his marriage to his 13-year-old cousin in 1957, but they stayed married till 1970. So it did last, even though it was controversial at the time. His best-selling album came in 2006 with Last Man Standing, which sold over 1 million copies worldwide. It's a great album, which I have got. Might feature it on a classic album one day. And the other album that was really a big hit for him was from 2010, Mean Old Man. It was another of his best-selling albums. So this is a man that made music and was still performing well into his 80s. I love Jerry Lee Lewis music, and I've chosen my favourite songs by Jerry Lee Lewis then for you. So I've got my top 10 and some bubbling unders, honourable mention type things. So first, coming in at number 10, is a song that actually first came out in May 1958, and it was the B-side to High School Confidential, and it's a track called Wild One. But the version that I like is the one that was on the soundtrack to the movie Great Balls of Fire, which starred Dennis Quaid as Jerry Lee Lewis. I think this is really good. It's got that the original is great, but for some reason this one's got a little bit more oomph to it, and it's got that rolling shuffle piano that Jerry was good at. He played on it and sang on it. It's a brilliant version, and it just sounds great. Coming in at number 9 again, and this is a track from 56, and it's Crazy Arms, but again I've chosen the version off the soundtrack because he does a duo with Dennis Quaid, who played Jerry in the movie, and it's really good, and I love this version, and that's why it's in my top 10. I think the original's brilliant, don't get me wrong, but I just love this version. Okay then, coming in at number 8, go to 1963 now. Didn't chart here. We got to number 98 in the USA, and it's I'm on Fire. Love this. I love the sax in it. It's a great vocal from Jerry doing the business. The piano is just brilliant. I love that track. Coming in at number 7, we got a 1958 now. A track that only got to number 52 in the USA, didn't chart here in the UK, and it's called Break Up. Love the piano at the beginning. Just great rock and roll, isn't it? It's got that dum ba dum ba dum ba dum. I just love how he used to get that rolling piano sound. It is absolutely brilliant track. Okay then, coming in at number 6, we move on a few decades to 1975, and it's a track that got to number 25 in the US country chart, and it's Boogie Woogie Country Man. Still making great songs. In 1975 was Jerry. I love the harmonica in this. It's that combination. It's rockabilly come country. It's such a catchy tune, and I really love that track. Okay then, coming in at number 5, we now go to 1970, and the B-side of a song called Waiting for a Train, which is a pretty good track in its own right. But I love Big-Legged Woman. Now the original is brilliant, but there's a great version on that soundtrack as well. It's a great track. Great sort of. It's a really old song. It goes back well into the early 50s, sort of, as well. It's a brilliant track. Okay, then coming in at number 4, 1957. Hit both sides of the Atlantic. This one was number 7 in the US, number 8 here in the UK. It's the brilliant Breathless. I love Jerry Lee's vocals on this. That piano playing, absolutely brilliant. I've seen clips of him do this. Yeah, he certainly was wild. That's a great track. Coming in at number 3 then. Go to 1957 now. Again, hit both sides of the Atlantic. Number 3 in the US, number 8 here. And it's a whole lot of shaking going on. I love this boogie woogie piano. It's Jerry at his best, and it's a great version of this song, and I love it. Absolutely love this song. Just like the again, it's just that thumping piano that he did, and that lovely bass notes on the piano. Great stuff. Okay, then coming in at number 2 now, probably a big shock to some people. We get a 1957 big hit, number 2 in the US, number 1 here in the UK. Great Balls of Fire, a classic all over the world. It's a brilliant track, but unfortunately it's one of them gets played to death, but I still love it, don't get me wrong. But my number 1 comes from 1958. Hit both sides of the Atlantic, number 21 in the US, but got to number 12 here in the UK, and it's High School Confidential. This has always been my favourite Jerry Lee Lewis song. I like the start. Do 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 do, bum bum, and then it goes dum ba dum ba. That's great. The vocals from Jerry is brilliant, and I think this is definitely a better track than Great Balls of Fire. So that's my top 10. I have got some honourable mentions. And as I said at the top of the show about this Last Man Standing, I couldn't not include a track from that album. So the one I've included from the Last Man Standing from 2006 is a track that he recorded with Rod Stewart, and it's What Made Me Milwaukee Famous. One of my favourite tracks off this album. It's a terrific duo between Jerry and Rod. Great rapport between them, and I think you could tell that Rod was in a little bit of awe that he was recording with the great Jerry Lee Lewis. It's a great little sort of duo, bit of a drinking song. But yeah, I love that track. Okay then, the next track comes from 1959 and an album just called Jerry Lee Lewis, and it's a version of Carl Perkins' Matchbox. I think everybody covered this back in the 50s, but I do like Jerry Lee's version, and I think in some respects it's a little bit better than Carl Perkins' version. It's got a little bit more oomph to it. I think it's that piano playing that helps. And my last honourable mention, we get to 1961 now. A track that charted twice in America in the country charts. 1961 it was number 22, and when it was re-released in 1979 it got to number 84, and it's Cold Cold Heart. Very country, but what I love about this, again, it's Jerry's vocal, but it's his piano playing. It just proved that he could play great rock and roll on the piano, but this proves that he can just do normal piano. It's a lovely song, absolutely delightful song, and that's why it made my honourable mentions. So there we go. It's just a little tribute to a great rock and roller. Will be influenced so many people, and I had to do a little thing about him. So that's all for today, folks. Tomorrow, being Wednesday, is a music marathon, and it is a viewer's request, and it's a British band that had more success in America than they did here in the UK, and that is Foghat. And also tomorrow we have got a birthday top 10 for a young lady called Becky, who is the good lady of one of my subscribers, Mick. He asked me to do her top 10 for her birthday, and it will come up tomorrow. So have a good day, everyone. I just hope it's a lot lighter than it is, because you know it should be lighter than this, but it's so dark and dingy here. Poor old Rocky hasn't even, he's been out once, did what he did to him, made a quick run in the house, and he's now in his bed fast asleep, and I don't blame him. So have a good day, everyone, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.